sun is shining 24/7. 'Cause when we're together, it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark, you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on you.
Hallelujah. Test over. Voice test
right.
is good.
Voice test is good.
Yeah.
That's on, right? Hide my bad hair day.
Yeah, that's actually how we warm up, because if you just go in, it's not natural. Yeah. All right. So hello everyone. Welcome to Qingpu Live. I'm Louis with Phoebe here.
Hi, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about moving to Taiwan.
Yeah.
And in our studio we have a guest, Scott.
Hello.
And Scott's from Canada, and he's going to introduce himself now.
Hi, I'm Scott MacMillan, and I came to Taiwan almost a quarter century ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Around 25 years. And I actually came to Taiwan by accident. I ended up here by accident. My sister was here, and I came to visit, and it was kind of an accident that I came here, but I stayed because of love, so I'm still here.
Ooh, because of love.
Because of love.
Wow.
Okay, I have a question. How old were you when you left Canada?
Oh, I was about 35. I guess that tells you how old I am. So I came here when I was 35.
35.
Just a young kid, actually, in my opinion, but sort of on an adventure.
Was it difficult to kind of adjust?
For me, I not, because I'm quite independent. And I love to travel. So yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved straight to Taipei or Taoyuan?
Taipei.
Taipei.
Yeah.
And where about?
I lived in Neihu. Neihu. That was my first home.
Okay.
I actually lived in somebody's garage. I can believe it or not. I lived on the other side of the BMW. There was a BMW and there was a partition, and I had a bed on the other side. So you understand?
Yeah.
I lived in somebody's garage, and actually every morning they used to open the door to go get their car, and they used to go by my bed. So it was.
Okay.
It's like in the movie.
Yeah, like in the movie. Yeah, hard to believe. That was the first place I lived.
Yeah, because
Wow.
when I first came, I had just a backpack, and I think I stayed on someone's couch for about a week, and then after that, I had to go rent something, and I used the last money I have just to rent an apartment. I didn't have money for next month's rent.
Yeah, I didn't have any money. That's why I ended up by living in the garage. My sister hooked me up with actually her good friend. He was the owner of the gym, and so basically he had a place, and that's all I could afford was nothing. I didn't have anything, so he said, "Listen, I'll charge you $4,000 a month, and you can pay me after you get your first paycheck." So
Yeah,
it all worked out, right?
Yeah, look at where you are today.
Yeah, came with nothing, and wow.
Yeah, that's really good. When I came, it wasn't easy getting my first job because I didn't have any experience and there wasn't anyone to guide me. Was that like the same?
Actually, I had my sister. She already was here for probably 5 years, and so she could take me around to all the places that were looking for people. So I actually went out one day, and by the end of the day I had 3 jobs. So I was all hooked up.
Oh wow!
And ready to go.
Maybe that's because you were in Taipei. And because I was like, I remember I was like taking the bus from Zhongli to Longtan and just to look for a job. I mean, I didn't know where to look. I mean, the internet wasn't as good. I mean, there were forums where you check, but still not as good as it is right now.
Can I name names where I started?
Yeah, please.
Oh,
please
I actually got my first job at Happy Marian.
That's a tin store.
Happy Marian. And then I got another job. Like I walked 10 steps and I worked at another place right beside Happy Marian. Right beside, Uncle Sam's. Sorry, Uncle Sam's was the first one, and then Happy Marian, and I worked at another place, and they were very close. So I worked at all 3 places, plus 2 or 3 other places I worked at the same time. So yeah, it just.
So you started teaching?
Yeah, I started teaching right away. My plan was to make money in a short time. I didn't, that's a long story, and you probably don't want to know it. But if you want to know it, I'd be happy to tell you. But
Sure.
I guess you talk really fast, and we can put as much into this podcast as much information.
Okay, so I'll tell you the little story, and it's actually a good story because it's really how I got here. And I used to be when I was in Canada, I had a pretty decent job and made lots of money. And I figured, well, there was a time in my life, I was still single, and time to go on a walkabout, walk around and, see the world. So I saved up enough money. I had about 2 million NT dollars, and I was going to have a long journey. And then, there's one bad habit I had at the time, and, many people have different bad habits like smoking, drinking, but my habit was gambling. So I got stuck in a few big cities around the world, and I gambled away $2 million. Okay. And so then I had no money. And so I literally had no money. I had a round the world ticket. So I had enough money to get to Taiwan and just change in my pockets. And so I really didn't have too many, I came here, my sister was here, and, I needed to get a job to make money. So why I did it then and why I do it now are two different things.
Wow. It's hard to just let go of that, addiction, right? Gambling addiction. Phoebe, can you explain to the audience in Chinese? I think this is very important.
Yeah. So, Scott 说他来到台湾，然后当时他的想法就是他想要环游世界，然后就是去探索一下自己的人生。结果没想到他的一个就是不好的一个恶习陋习，就是赌博，然后把他存的积蓄赚了很多的钱，200万的大概200万台币，就是都输光了。
不是在台湾哦，他是说
在不同的地方，
对，
因为他那时候已经有机票要去不同的国家探险了，
他已经准
备好
200万，差不多200万，然后他去其他的国家就把它花光在 gambling. How to say gambling in Chinese?
赌博。
Yeah. It's those people who gamble, it's very hard to stop.
I shouldn't be a gambler because I'm also an accountant. I'm an accountant, high-level accountant. So I know math very well and odds. I know the odds, and the odds of winning when you're gambling are very low. The house always wins, right? So, I was stupid to play, but it's an addiction, right? You get hooked on it. You win big money, and you think it's going to go on forever. And that's how I started. I made a lot of money at the beginning, and I was very happy, but then when you start winning big, you start losing big after that. So.
Yeah, well, that's I had one experience because the most we've done is kind of like buy lottery tickets. And then one Chinese New Year, because during the Chinese New Year they do have these big lottery tickets and they're quite attractive. So I was single. I played 1,000, I got 2. I played another 1,000, I got another 2. Okay. I think the highest I got was like 20 grand in total. But then after that, every ticket I bought was a lot, zero until I lost everything, and I'm like
in the hole.
Yes, in the hole. At the end of that day, I was losing $7,000 of my own money, so I didn't get anything at all.
Gambling only, you only lose in the end. You might win in the beginning, or maybe over a week or a month or a year, but in the end, you always lose.
Wow. So it's like, it's just hard to get over any kind of addiction. I'm quite surprised because I never knew this about you.
Yeah, it's one of my hidden secrets.
I never knew this about you.
No, actually, it's a story I tell because it's actually how I got here. It's how I got here.
Okay.
And I got here with nothing, so I was quite hungry because in the past before this I was had money, and when I came here I had nothing. It was quite a little embarrassing. I had to live in somebody's garage. So. Yeah. That's why when I got started here, I was quite serious about working, so.
How much was your first paycheck here in Taiwan?
Oh, should I tell you? I used to make about, on average, I guess I would make about 150,000.
In your first year?
Yeah, every month I would make 150,000.
In your first year, wow.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot.
My first paycheck was like 6,000 NT. 6,000, 6,000 NT, I had to add 500 to that to pay my rent. So it was 6,500.
No, as soon as I got started, I could make money, right? But that's, making money is never my problem. Saving money is my problem. So.
Wow. And then just a little backstory. We met Scott. We opened we opened a co-working space.
Yeah.
And that's where we met him. And I think we had you came for the opening of, and then we closed that business down. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, everything we do in life is kind of like a part of the journey, right? If I didn't do that, have that, that difficult times, that struggle, right? It helped me to. That's probably the reason why I'm here and have a beautiful life here, because I had to struggle, and so it's all part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
How do you bypass the time, like when you were in a really difficult situation?
Oh, I love to go out. I love hanging out with friends, and, going to the pub, and I always had lots of people could go out with. So
Okay. But then let's go to why you stayed, which is love.
Why I stayed, yeah.
Maybe you need to translate this part because
Actually, I'd been here about 3 years, and it was time to go. I'd made lots of money, and I was, I had money in my pocket, and I had a good job to go back to, and just at that time that I was ready to go back, my father actually died, and but just before my father, I had met Fiona. She's my wife, and she's my angel really, and so I met Fiona, and then my father died, and then my whole life changed at that time. So it was like a big transition. And, shortly after that, I was married and had my first kid and a house and, the journey, right?
How did you meet her?
Oh, that's a really good story. You want to hear it?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, this story
Interesting.
is beautiful. Okay, I was actually out with some friends, and I was at, I forget the name of the pub, but it was quite a famous one. Many foreigners go there, and I saw this girl at the pub, and wow, she's so beautiful. So I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" And she looked at me, "No." I said, "Why not?" And she says, "You're a Wygoran." And I said, and she says, "I know what you want," And so, I was like, "Oh wow, I never had one just like that." It turned down like that. And so I went back. I was chatting with this guy, and I went back and I told him the story, and the guy laughing. He's laughing so hard. I said, "Why are you laughing?" He says, "That's my sister." In the pub, it's like 200 people, and it just happened to be his sister. I'm serious. It was her brother Calvin, and so. Anyways, Calvin and I over time became best of friends, and and then Pinche would become like a trio. Just all friends, and
Yeah. So you had another chance.
and then she got to know me, and she said, "Hey, this guy ain't so bad, right?" So yeah, one thing led to another, and
You're here today. How many kids later?
3 kids later. 3 kids later.
Maybe you want to do a little
Three
bit.
beautiful kids. 就是 Scott 跟他的太太 Fiona 的认识是在一个 pub 里面，然后那时候他就是马上眼睛就对上了这个女孩，然后就很想要买一杯酒请她。那当时 Fiona 就是也很不赏脸，就直接说我不要，我不需要，因为你是外国人。对，那他就被打枪了，就没想到他的朋友居然是 Fiona 的哥哥，对，就这样子。
Wait, I have a question. Did you go to the pub with
The brother?
Fiona's brother?
No,
or
no.
was it a random person?
Random. It was just a random person.
Okay.
And that random person
Happens to be
sisters with that random person.
Okay.
The odds of it happening, I think, are quite high. Because the place was so crowded. I don't know. It's one of those famous pubs downtown.
Yeah.
Anyways, I haven't been to a pub for 20 years, but back at the time, wow, it was such a coincidence. For me, wow, it was an amazing coincidence. And so our whole life has been like that. Many things happen that are just like aha moments. Like wow, we were meant to be together. Like she's my angel. So.
Yeah， 所以他们的认识是很偶然，就是旁边这个人他不认识 Fiona 的哥哥，他只是说，我想跟这女生喝酒，然后搭讪一下，结果没想到就是他的妹妹。Yeah.
But the weird thing is, I was a single guy, and I had no interest in being married. Just not. Didn't want that life. I was actually, predisposition to, being a single guy for the rest of my life. I wanted to be single. And after I met Fiona, my whole world, changed.
So what's the key thing that change your mind?
First it was just attraction, right? And then it was about the coincidence, how we met. And then I just one other story is so important is that, my wife is quite, involved in personal development, and she was attending some program, and I said, "Oh, wow, that sounds interesting. I think I want to go." So I went, and then when it was a 3-day program, I came back, and she says, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm loving, kind, and courageous." She goes, "Oh my goodness." She went and got a piece of paper, and when she went, she pulled her paper, she rolled it down like this. It said, "Loving, kind, and courageous." The exact same 3 words. You understand? In this program, there were hundreds of people, and you have to come up with 3 adjectives that describe yourself.
Is that in Chinese? Did she write in Chinese or English?
They were actually in English. Okay, they're actually in English,
Okay.
and she pulled hers down, and I showed her mine, and they were exactly the same. And at that moment, at that moment, I knew, wow, it has something to do with fate or something to do with the
destiny,
the universe. I don't know. But
So it was after that she had agreed to go on a date. Like when did she agree for the date to go on your first date?
Actually, just before that, we started getting together, and then as we're getting more involved, I wanted to get to know her better, so I started to explore things she was doing in her life. She was doing many things, like many programs. She would go to them to look inside herself, and so I thought, wow, that's great. I've always been into that kind of that sort of stuff, that personal development. So I thought, wow, I want to go. So she booked me in for 3 days, and I went to the program, and when that happened at the end, wow, it's just so amazing. And when I was there, everybody had 3 different words. It's not like everybody chooses loving, kind, and courageous, okay?
Yeah.
Every single person in the room of 150 people had a different 3 words.
So you guys a perfect match.
And not only perfect match, but in the same order, okay? So that's when I knew, we're soulmates, okay? Or, we have this special connection,
Okay.
I've waited my whole life for this person, right? So, anyways, I went from being, a staunch single person to, I want to be single to, will you marry me? And then it happened very quickly. 3 months later, we were married. So.
Wow, just 3 months.
Wow.
3 months, yeah.
So you made your commitment in 3
and
months.
that's another story, but you don't want to hear that one either. If you want to hear it all, I'll tell you. I'll tell you everyone that's the story.
We go step by step.
Okay.
So was it when you guys started dating? Was it really difficult to? I mean, like, was there any kind of clash between your cultures? Like,
It's a foreign marriage.
I have to say, her family accepted me quite well. And, her father was quite a gentleman. So I felt, and all the brothers and sisters were so nice. And they actually had this English kind of, everybody was interested in English, So, they were...
So they were trying to speak English all the time with you.
I wasn't there wasn't any kind of friction, you understand?
Okay.
Or, her father couldn't understand English, okay? And I couldn't understand Chinese, but we could always communicate using body language, So, we always got along, And anyways, I don't think there was any negative part to our getting together.
Okay.
And my wife, Fiona, she really loved English,
Okay.
And in school, she was terrible at every other subject, but English was her passion, you understand?
All right.
Yeah, it was her passion. So in school, she wasn't a great student, but, English, she was the best. So, you understand?
Yeah.
There was some connection, Yeah.
So I think we should get Fiona here one day.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of like look at both of you's story and see where are the problems in the story. No.
Actually, my wife has heard these stories so many times,
Okay.
She's heard them so many times. Yeah.
OK， 所以他们的相遇，然后认识，就是很巧的，在他们一起决定要交往的时候，然后去参加了一个有点像是认识自己的一个营队，然后就这样子，他们写下了3个形容自己想要成为的人的这些词汇，结果他们2个选的词汇是完全一模一样，而且顺序也是相同，就是真的是天注定，就是 God has made the plan for you。Yeah,
I feel.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So how did you guys like after married? Oh, so how did you guys get married? You proposed to her.
Actually, no, that's a beautiful story.
Okay.
I took my wife to Canada. I want to introduce her to my mother because, my mother always says, gives me the yay or the nay, the nod, right? Okay. And so I took it. My mother loved her. Okay. So I said to Fiona, hey, let's get married. I proposed to her in Canada on a Friday. We got married on a Saturday.
Cool.
Wow.
That's very fast.
We got the justice of the peace to our house. The whole family got together and we got married in the back of my mother's house. That was the first wedding, and then the second wedding
was in Taiwan.
We had it back in Taiwan.
Okay.
Oh, so you make decisions like.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. So.
Yeah, it's the same with us. And then she agreed just like that, like.
Yes. Yeah, we already had that bond, We already knew, we already had all the conversations. So
we went to Canada.
It was just a question of when, when.
You went to Canada as a boyfriend, girlfriend, and then back as a husband and wife.
Yeah. That's
Maybe I don't know. I feel that that's what she wanted. So
a lot of our viewers are like parents. So how do you guys decide to to have kids? Did you guys plan it? Was it in a plan?
Not really. We wanted kids, of course, because I love kids, she loves kids. So we just, we weren't trying hard. We were just, we just knew it would come when it came. So,
okay.
Yeah. The first one came within a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it bring fortune? Because it's kind of like what usually happens.
Yeah, I have to say, when you have kids, right, you have to change all your priorities. And so, that's when you start thinking about the future, right? When you really start thinking about what you need to do to take care of your kids, their legacy, and how they're going to survive. It's your responsibility, right? So it changed everything.
All right,
kids changed everything.
So have you called? Is Taiwan now your home? Because have you spent more time here then?
Yeah, 25 years. I've only been home I've only been home 5 times.
Yeah, I came to Taiwan in 2005. I was 22. So I'm thinking in a couple of years I would have stayed more time in Taiwan than back home.
I'm getting there. Almost there. Yeah, almost there.
So 22. So now I'm 39. So I guess 42. So 4 years. About 4 years more. I will have spent more time in Taiwan then.
When people ask me, people I don't know, say, where's your home? I say, Taiwan's my home. I was born in Canada, but my home is in Taiwan.
Yeah, and then the other thing is your adult life in Taiwan. Like when you kind of make your own decisions and when you kind of follow your own path. But when growing up, you just count out 10, 15, 20 years. Those, I mean, you don't really experience much, right? Wow.
I don't know about you, but I did.
Right? I mean, 1 to 12?
No, I came here when I was 35. So, I mean, I had a great life in Canada, but I was here to explore. I was exploring the world. That's
What I meant is like if you count your adult life here in Taiwan, but if you count the life back in Canada or like me in Nigeria, half of it you were a kid, right? You were kind of not experienced. But here I spent most of my adult life. So yes, I would call Taiwan my home.
I realized there's a special character of you that you make decision very quick and fast. In our lifetime, every day we're making decision. So I'm kind of curious, how do you come up with the options and, the thinking of I should choose this way, I should do this, every time when you're making decisions?
For me, it's all about the feel, it feels, I can see my options, if there's a problem, I can see my options and pick the best one, right? The one that seems right.
Does it come up with also because of your background? Because you have
I have an accounting finance background, so when I bought my first house in Taiwan, it was on the day that Chen Shui-bian was shot, and the market just went plummeted, right? Everybody's like, no, don't buy, and that's the day I went and bought it because I knew that was the best time to buy it, so it felt right. Things always feel right, like when I came to Qingpu, it just felt right. The community seemed, wow, this is a beautiful community,
Yeah.
And it has a huge future, and maybe nobody sees it, but I can see it,
Yeah.
At the time, it was long grass and only a few buildings, but I've lived here for 15 years in Qingpu, right? So
15
years here.
I remember the first time.
Who picked the location, Qingpu? Your wife or you?
I did.
How?
Oh,
How do you even know about this?
How do you have the
place?
foresight?
How did you get this information that this was? Because 15 years ago there was no HSR, right?
Yeah.
HSR wasn't.
Actually, no, it was there.
It was there.
The way I got here is, my wife had she worked for this spa company, and she had a spa in Taipei and a spa in Taoyuan. So every day she was going back and forth and back and forth. And one thing I know about my wife is when she's driving, she gets distracted. That phone always gets in the way, right? So I just felt, wow, I don't really feel comfortable every day she's going back and forth, to her work here. So I thought, let's look for a house here, right? So I was driving around. I ended up at the shopping center. The one near here is, what's it called? the shopping center.
Gloria?
Metro Walk.
Metro Walk. I drove by that place, and wow, at the time it wasn't a very popular place, and it was kind of like, it's a big building,
the middle of nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I said, wow, and then I started just driving around some streets, and finally I got to Qingpu, and I said, wow, this is quite interesting. And that's how I got here, and then we looked at a few houses, and like within 3 days, I had made an offer on a house, so. It was by chance I feel I got here. It was just like, I always feel there's something driving me to the right place,
Yeah. And we have similar stories, kind of like I always wanted something in Qingpu, but then there was nothing, right? Even I think I was still in Taiwan when they were constructing the high-speed train rail. When they started that construction there, I'm like, okay, I need to buy a property here. But I already bought one in Zhongli. But the day we came to look for a house, we just walked into our house now, our apartment, and we immediately decided to buy it.
We came back from Nigeria, and then we were empty.
We're actually broke.
Nothing.
Broke,
Yeah, we're actually
Super
broke. Because we spent most of our cash in Nigeria. And then we just decided that day, we didn't have the down payment.
We used the credit card.
So we paid, you have to pay a deposit, right? So I paid 30,000 deposit. And then
I had to ask my mother for the money to pay the deposit.
Okay. So now 30,000 we have to come up with like 500K or 300K, 500K in the first week.
Yeah.
You know what? Suddenly someone contacts Phoebe. It's like, look, there's a job to make a commercial, and we have to fly to Nigeria. We need someone who has experience in Nigeria. We just came back from Nigeria, and now because of that, we're going back. We not only have the initial payment, we have the whole down payment, which was like $2 million or so. Yeah, just from that one job.
Beautiful.
And then that's how we got our first house together. Because I had one before, but that's how we got our first house. We were completely broke, but I think the only reason we got it is because we decided there and then that we wanted that house, and what they needed was money, so we needed to find that money. That's all.
Yeah, things seem to work out that way. When you're heading down a path and you reach an obstacle, things always, you figure them out, right?
Yeah.
And when you're kind of, you really want it, these things just seem to happen, right? So mine is a similar story.
Yeah.
I had to come up with $3 million, and I didn't have, we already had a house in Taipei. I had to come up with $3 million. So I'm thinking, how can I get $3 million? So we can phone my wife's boss, and you know what? We phoned him on Sunday, and the $3 million arrived in cash in a bag on Monday. You understand?
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
In a bag.
No way.
Your wife's boss?
Yes.
Yeah, that's something we learned in Nigeria, and there was this. There's this Malaysian guy who has a steel factory, and then because we're always trying to do things by ourselves, right? So even when we went to Nigeria, the business we started, everything was our cash. And he's like, look, when you have ideas, you have things, just ask people. If you don't ask, don't, just ask people.
Ask for help.
Ask for help, exactly. And that's one of the episodes we want to do. Ask for help. And then, but that's one of the differences between growing up overseas and in Nigeria. Just going back to Nigeria for 1 year just gave us a different way of thinking, just like we went back, we came back, we decided on the house, and then they also said, if you need something, just ask, because if you don't ask, then you have no chance. So like most people in Taiwan would just give up if they cannot do it. I mean, that's brings me to one question. When you decide to buy this house and you don't have $3 million, what was your wife's
reaction?
What was the honest reaction?
Before I give you my reaction, I want to tell you a shout out to Luca and Yenje. They're my wife's boss, okay? And they're quite wonderful people, okay? But at that time, what I did actually, when I went into the house, it was a beautiful house, and far above my budget. And there was a beautiful book, it wasn't just a DM, it was a book, and it opened it like a book, and I wrote my wife a message inside the book, and I said, honey, you're the love of my life. And I still have the book, by the way, and it's got the writing in the front page that says, this house is yours. I'm going to buy it for you. And my wife looked at me. Yeah, right. She just didn't think it could happen, right? And I told her it's going to happen. In fact, when we went there the first time to look at the house, my wife said, don't tell them we're just looking, okay? She didn't want them to know we couldn't afford to buy it, you understand?
Yeah.
But you know, for me, at that point in my life, I was good to go for anything, you know, like that's when I, you know, bought our house, got married, you know, everything was possible, you know, at that moment, you know, starting a business, everything was.
You just have to decide, right?
Just decide. What's your list? What's your list? Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do it. Okay, don't make any excuses, right?
Because Phoebe had a little bit of a similar.
Yeah, because I was like, "Are you out of your mind?"
No, she didn't really say it. Like, I mean, she was thinking it.
No, I said it to you. I was like, "There's no way we can pay this thing." And then there's like the next week, the person contacted me. I was like, "I don't know. Maybe I need more time." Yeah, we're busy. I was making excuses. Yeah, but
and then you know how that job happened? We're like. They contact her on the day they contacted her. 2 days later, we're on a plane to Nigeria. On the plane, we paid for telephone calls and internet. And on the plane, it was Emirates, so you could do that. So on the plane, we're contacting all the people necessary for that job. So it was everything just happened within 10 days. And 10 days later, the 1 week or 2 weeks that we need to pay the down payment was up. So we just had to go give them the money, and they paid us already. So everything just happened like that.
Things happen in life like that. If you stay focused and
just
positive be decisive, and know what you want. You know, you got to know what you want, right? And it takes two. It takes two. It takes you and the other one on this side, right? You know, the two of you together are strong, right?
Yeah,
you know, she makes you probably really strong, right?
Yeah.
I'm in direction, right? So
I can rely on her. So since we're talking about moving from Canada to Taiwan, is there anything you miss
in Canada?
Yeah.
You know, I only go back, like I said, once every 5 years. But when I go back, I love it. Okay, and the thing I love the most is just hanging out with my family, and you know, in the backyard, lots of space, barbecue. You know, looking at the cows. You know, it's just. It's actually quite different, you know, but when I go back there, I feel like, you know, it's time to go back home, you know, and home is Taiwan, right? It's where my family is. So, you know, my brothers and sisters are all there. I got, you know, lots of them. I got lots of family members, but, you know, to me, home is here. It's where my family
home is Taiwan. Yeah. That's the same feeling we get because we travel a lot. And, you know, on the last day, we're kind of like, we can't wait to get home. And the happiest moment is when we just arrive at the airport. We're like, oh, yeah, we're home.
And in the taxi. And
exactly.
Almost home. And
we have the same feeling.
Yeah.
So what you miss about Canada is space.
Yeah.
Family.
I miss my family, but, you know, I miss just going back. And I like to have a little look, and, you know, it kind of looks the same. And, you know, and all my friends have grown up and have their own lives, you know. So it just I feel like, you know, that's not my home. But I love it there. You know, I love, you know, many things you can do, you know, go, you know, golfing everywhere, and you can do, you know, go to the beach, and you can go swimming, and you can go, you know, so many things you can do, you know, but you know, when it's all said and done and you've spent all that money on vacation, you know, can't wait to get home, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like so many things you can do there, but mostly in Taiwan, we just go out to eat.
Well, yeah, for me, it's, you know, it's family and business, right? So, you know, there's never enough time to do the business. So, anyways.
So do you have any advice for people who are thinking about moving here?
The most important thing is to find a really nice Taiwanese woman, okay? That nice Taiwanese girlfriend, you know. And if you're just here to play, you know, probably
go back home first.
Okay, but, you know, because it gets harder to make a living here. But, you know, 20 years ago it was so easy, but I think it's getting harder. But if you find the right person, you know, and you plan to have a life here, then it's easy. Everything is easy when you have a mission, right? You have the right mission, your family, right? Everything's easy.
Yeah.
So moral of the story, find a good partner.
Yeah, find a good partner. Yes. You know, the opposite could be true. If you find the wrong partner, it could be like hell, okay, and then you want to get out. But
yes.
But the truth is, you know, find a good partner, and then, you know, life can be beautiful in Taiwan because, you know, everything is here. Everything you need is here, right? There's, you know, they have a good education system. They have, you know, good food, good people, so there are places to go on the weekend, it's just, there's everything you need to do is here, and it's close to everything, right? And
that's the convenience.
Close
that's
to
one...
Thailand, and close to, Japan, and close to South Korea, it's close to everything, right? So
if I were to describe Taiwan in one word, I would just say convenience. And
convenient, yes.
It's not just close overseas to all the other countries. It's also close. Everything in Taiwan, just even going to a government office like the home office is like really convenient. It's like five star treatment. But so with that, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Cheers. We're cheersing with our coffee.
Purple Cafe.
Our cafe. Near the high speed train station in Taoyuan.
Cheers.
And for some good coffee and some Nigerian food. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for
Cheers.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Come back
you.
soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Right. Wow. We did it.